poem. So this particular poem is a lyric poem, okay, and it has 10 stanza, 8 lines each in each and every stanza, that is octaves. So we can see 10 octaves are there in this particular poem, and its rhyme scheme is A A B B C D D C. So there are 8 lines altogether, that is A A B B C D D C. Now the metrical structure is, it alternates between iambic pentameter and trochaic pentameter, and it is a variation of ottava rima. Ottava rima is a 8 line stanza, and usually it is in iambic pentameter, and the rhyme scheme, traditional rhyme scheme is AB 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 CC. So that is the rhyme scheme of Ottava rima. But here we can see the rhyme scheme of this particular poem is A A B B C D D C. So that is the reason why we call it as a variation of Ottava rima. And not only that, there is iambic pentameter and trochaic pentameter, both are there in this particular poem. But usually in Ottava rima they employ iambic pentameter. So generally iambic pentameter is the traditional or is the normal meter that is used by the poets in Ottava rima, and the rhyme scheme is AB 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 CC. Now the earliest non-use of this particular stanza was by Boccaccio, and then it was used in mock heroics. Okay, so mock hero, usually to write mock heroic type of poetry, people, that is the poets, they used this stanza Ottava rima with iambic pentameter and the rhyme scheme AB 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 CC. Okay, so this particular poem is a variation of Ottava rima, 8 line stanzas, that is octaves, and then A A B B C D D C. Okay, now we can see the figure of speeches. So once more the storm is howling. Storm is howling is a personification. Okay, and half hid is alliteration. Half her sound is repeated, and under this cradle hood and cover lids, cradle hood and cover lid alliteration. Now this cradle hood and cover lid can be a symbol of Annie's innocence. Okay, there is no obstacle but Gregorius wood and one bare hill whereby the he stuck and roof leveling wheat buried on the Atlantic. Atlantic is a metonymy for USA. Okay, that is Atlantic. It was written in the year 1919 during the time of World War I, and it was lots of reinforcements were sent, and then USA actively participated in World War I during those times. Okay, those periods. So he says that the storm is bred on the Atlantic. So USA, this Atlantic stands for USA. It is a metonymy, and because of the great gloom, G sound is repeated, so it is an alliteration. So this storm can be a metaphor of or symbol of Irish War of Independence. Not only that, it can be a symbol of World War I as well. So storm is a metaphor for the turbulence that is going on during those period, those times. Okay. Now I have walked and prayed for this young child an hour and heard the sea wind scream. So it's a personification. Then it is an assonance, sea wind scream. E sound is repeated. So sea wind is personified, and assonance we can identify assonance there, and then onomatopoeia because scream is an onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeic term. Okay, word scream. And then we can see, and under the arches of the bridge and scream in the elms above the flooded stream, imagining in excited reverie that the future years had come, dancing to a frenzied drum. So here future years are dancing. So it is personification out of the murderous innocence of the sea. Here we can see two entirely different opposite concepts are brought together. Murderous innocence, so there is an oxymoron. Now May she be granted beauty and yet not beauty to make a stranger's eye distraught. Stranger's eye is personified. Okay, so stranger's eye is personified, distraught. And then on hers before a looking glass is mirror. For such being made beautiful, over much consider beauty is sufficient and lose natural kindness and maybe the heart revealing intimacy that chooses right and never find a friend. Now, Helen being chosen found life flat and dull. So, Helen is an allusion, Greek mythology, and later had much trouble from a fool. Fool is an allusion, fool. Okay, Paris. And then, while that queen is also great queen is allusion Aphrodite or Venus. Then you choose a bandy let Smith for man, her husband, and then is a crazy salad with their meat. A crazy salad means it's a metaphor for an inferior spouse. മോശമായിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു പാർട്ട്ണർ എന്നുള്ളതാണ് a crazy salad. Okay, so that is a metaphor. And whereby the horn of plenty. Horn of plenty is it is something related to horn given by Zeus. Okay, horn of plenty is a metaphor for blessing, the kind of advantages or blessings given for people. That is horn of plenty. That is a metaphor. Then in courtesy, I would have her chiefly learnt. Hearts are not had as a gift, but hearts are earned. So, heart is a symbol of love by those that are not entirely beautiful, yet many that have played the fool. For beauty's very self has charm made wise. So, charm is personified. Okay, so it is personified. Charm is personified, and many a poor man that have wrote, loved, and thought himself beloved from a glad kindness. So, glad kindness is personified here. Now, may she become a flourishing hidden tree. That is metaphor. Flourishing hidden tree is a metaphor for his daughter being a fruitful person or a very uh, good mannered person. And then that all her thoughts may like the linnet. Like is there, so it is a simile, and have no business but dispensing round their magnanimities of sound, nor but in merriment begin a chase, nor but in merriment a quarrel. So it is an anaphora. O may she live like some green laurel, like simile, rooted in one dear perpetual place. My mind murmur sound is repeated, so it is an alliteration. Then, because the minds that I have loved, the sort of beauty that I have approved, prosper but little, has dried up of late, yet knows that to be choked with hate may well be of all evil chances chief. If there is no hatred in a mind, assault and battery of the wind can never tear the linnet from the leaf. Now here we can say an intellectual hatred is the worst, so let her think opinions are accursed. Have I not seen the loveliest woman born out of the mouths of plenty's horn? So here, mouth of plenty's horn means it is personified. Okay, with lots of blessing in the അർത്ഥത്തിലാണ് അവിടെ വരുന്നത്. It is personified because of her opinionated mind. A barter that horn and every good by quiet natures understood for an old below എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ അതൊരു എന്താണ് ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് എ മെറ്റഫർ ഫോർ യൂസ്ലെസ് പാർട്ട്നേഴ്സ്. ഓക്കെ, so it is a billows എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ it is a device with an air bag that emits a stream of air when squeezed together with two handles using for blowing air into a fire. That is a type of sorry, it is not a musical instrument, but it is a device. ഒരു പ്രത്യേക രീതിയിലുള്ള ഡിവൈസാണ്. അതിലിങ്ങനെ നമ്മൾ ഈ ഫയർ കൂട്ടാൻ വേണ്ടി കത്തിക്കാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് അതിലേക്ക് യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരു ഡിവൈസാണ് സ്ട്രീം ഓഫ് എയർ പ്രൊഡ്യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. ഓക്കെ, ഓൾഡ് ബിലോസ് ഫുൾ ഓഫ് ആംഗ്രി വിൻഡ്. അപ്പോൾ യൂസ്ലെസ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള പാർട്ട്നേഴ്സിനുള്ള ഒരു മെറ്റഫറാണ് ഈ ഓൾഡ് ബിലോസ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. ഫുൾ ഓഫ് ആംഗ്രി വിൻഡ്, ആംഗ്രി ആയിട്ടുള്ള വിൻഡാണ്. അപ്പോൾ ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് എ പേഴ്സോണിഫിക്കേഷൻ. നൗ then the soul recovers radical innocence. Soul is personified. Then self-delighting, self-appeasing, self-affrightening. Repetition. അവിടെ റിപ്പീറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് വരുന്നുണ്ടല്ലോ, അപ്പോൾ repetition ആണ്. and then its own sweet will is heaven's will. Heaven is personified. And then scowl, howl എന്നുള്ളതൊക്കെ onomatopoeic words ആണ്. Then every below വീണ്ടും എന്താണ് metaphor ആണ്. Okay, now here laurel tree is a metaphor for generations. Lastly വരുന്ന and custom for the spreading laurel tree എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ it is a family tree അല്ലെങ്കിൽ generation coming generations spreading generation എന്നുള്ളതിനൊക്കെ ഉള്ളൊരു metaphor ആണ്. Okay, so that's it.